So that is oral knowledge. The Vedas could be oral. It survived for hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years. Then we have so many things in our society, in our, say, the folks, among the common folks, which are oral, which are not written down. Until recently, many of our tribal communities did not have written literature, nor did they have anything in writing. They did not have scripts, most of them, and they did not have the tradition of writing, or they did not have even writing material. So everything was oral. The tribal people, they handed down their tradition, their knowledge, their indigenous knowledge in this oral method. It was oral and oral, both. One has to speak, that is oral. When you speak, that is oral. And when it is heard, it is oral. So oral and oral was the system in which knowledge was disseminated. In the past, and in some communities, even in the present, and in all the communities at present also. This is a classroom. In this classroom we have only a few points written down, but everything is oral and oral. It's oral for me and oral for you. Is it clear? So, in this process of oral and oral, we have got a say treasure of our ancient knowledge. It was written down at a later stage. The Vedas were written down at a later stage, and similarly, many things are written down at present, but until recently they were not written down. In tribal societies, as I have told you, among the Karbis particularly, where I did extensive field work in many spells, there I noticed that in the first field work that I had done to do in 1982, I was restricted to write down what they say, particularly their songs, their mantras, all these things. They didn't want me to write it down, nor did they want it to be recorded. I had to talk to them for hours to convince them that this is not harmful, that this will not break the tradition. This is the modern day tradition, so you have to do it in order to preserve them, in order to disseminate them. In this way, finally they agreed. At the initial stages, they simply did not allow me to write, did not allow me to record. Everything was disseminated in oral form. By that time, some of their community members had already written them down and had published as books. But the common folks, they were not aware of that. The first publication was in the early part of 19th century in Karbi language, and the Karbi, first Karbi book by the missionaries were in the 19th century. And in the 20th century, the Karbi material came into existence. The first book that I came across was the Mikirs, where Edward Stack and Charles Lyell had written down a few tales. It was written in Roman script with translation. It was given. There was word-to-word translation. The British, they did not bother for the meaning of the tale, but they bothered only for the meaning of the words, and that is a very fine example of translation of the word-to-word translation, which is I don't say having very much utility, but yet it is good sometimes to grab the meaning. So you can rewrite it, because we have different kinds of syntaxes. The syntax of Indic languages, the English language and the tribal languages are not similar. If you translate an Indic language to another Indic language, then you may get the meaning, or you may get almost the exact translation. But from a tribal language to Indic language or English or any other language, you won't get the meaning unless it is to another tribal language. If it is of the Sino-Tibetan, Tibeto-Burman group, then if it is translated to that group, you may get some amount of similarity. So in this way, knowledge was transmitted from one generation to other in this oral and oral method, and we took up writing at a later stage. First we wrote down the Vedas. They are the earliest writings. The Indian scholars claim it to be 5,000 years old. The Western scholars doesn't want to give us that much of heritage. They say that it is 2,500 years old or 3,000 years old. Anyway, at any cost, this is regarded to be the oldest literature, oldest epic in the world, and the greatest epic, the biggest epic, of course. You are aware of the epic, term epic, all of you? Do I need to explain it to anybody? All of you understand epic? If you don't understand, please raise your hand. Epic is understood by all, isn't it? Okay. So the Vedas, then comes the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. These are epics. And the Western world, but only the Greeks had some epics, Greeks and the Latin, in the Latin language. But the other people, they hardly had any epic of our kind. And I regard it to be the youngest epic, the Finnish epic. Do you know the name of the Finnish epic? The epic of Finland? Kalevala. Yeah. It was collected by one physician, a doctor, Elias Londra. Do you know the year? It was in 1834. So he used to visit door to door for treatment of people, and during that period, I think doctors at that time were not so elegant and so professional, not talking to their patient. It was not like that. Nowadays, you hardly hear a word from a doctor. He will just write the prescription and will not disclose the secret of his treatment. But at that time, perhaps he mixed with people. That is why he heard some songs among the common people, and he collected those songs. And every time he went to treat patient, he used to collect those songs from those households, and finally, when he looked at the songs in a bird's eye view, then he came to find out a link of all these songs, and he arranged them, and after arrangement, it turned out to be the youngest epic of the world, that is the Kalevala, the Finnish epic Kalevala. It has been translated into English and many other languages. You have Penguin versions also. There are, I think, 4 or 5 Penguin versions itself. Many people have translated it. So this is an European epic. So people are very proud. The whole of European community is proud that they have this epic Kalevala. So they have translated into almost all the European languages. So we study epics in folklore. Apart from the Ramayana and Mahabharata, there are folk epics. I haven't mentioned the term folk epic here. Are you familiar with this term folk epic? Can anybody of you tell me what can be a folk epic, the name of at least one folk epic?
Sabin Alun.
Sabin Alun. Okay. Anybody else? Do you know what is Sabin Alun? Sabin Alun has nothing to do with Sabin and Alun. It is the Ramayana in Kalita. The exact meaning of the terms Sabin Alun means song of Sabin. Sabin is a proper noun. So Song of Sabine, but nowhere has there been any person called Sabine, nor do they